So today, let's read from the book of Proverbs. So Proverbs chapter 3, verses 4 through 8. So let's read this in turn. So it says, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding.
In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight.
Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil."
This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones.
Amen. So this is our passage for today, Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 8. So when I think about living life and just moving on to the future, there's a part of me that kind of always wants to know what is the most, effective way for me to live? Or how can I use my time in the best way? How can I use my time the most effectively? How can I pick, a job that'll benefit me the most, or something that I'll enjoy doing? And so when we look towards the future, we have to think about, what does it mean to live a fulfilling life? What does it mean to make the most of the time that you have? And so, what we learn from the Proverbs here today is that having a fulfilling life isn't necessarily going out and doing more stuff. It's not going out and, skydiving, going out and getting the best car. It's not going out making the most money. That's not what the proverb teaches us is fulfilling. But instead, what we learn here is that it's when we walk with the Lord. It's when we trust the Lord with our lives that we can have a fulfilling life. And so it says that it brings us healing and refreshment. It brings us peace and rest. And a lot of times when we look for a good life, when we look for meaning, we try to go for the most money, the most fun, the most stimulation that I can have. But instead, when we do these things, we often find that we need more. We often find that it's not enough. And so where we can find true fulfillment and true rest is when we find peace in God. It's when we find this rest in our relationship with Him, when we walk with Him and abide with Him. This is what gives us meaning. This is what gives us fulfillment. And the Proverbs also tells us in this passage that it's not wise to walk on your own. It's not wise to just try to live your life by yourself. And a lot of times we take pride in this. We take pride in, look at who I've made myself. Look at what I've done, the accomplishments that I've had. But all of this really in the end is just foolishness if you're not walking with the Lord. Everything that you've tried to make, everything that you've tried to become, if you've done all of this without the Lord, then what worth is it? Jesus tells us in the Gospels that it's no gain to you if you have the whole world, but you forfeit your soul. And so, in everything that you do, no matter where you go, you must be walking with the Lord if you want your life to have meaning. And so you have to understand, this walk of faith that you have, this Christian identity that you have, this isn't something that you can just throw away. This isn't something that's just disposable. But you've inherited something. You've inherited something that the Bible calls precious. It says that this is worth more than gold, more than silver. This thing that we've inherited, this faith that we have. So you have this precious thing. So always remember this. Remember who your God is. Remember who you are serving. Don't ever forget just how valuable your faith is, how valuable God is to you. Take this with you wherever you go. No matter what you do, take this with you. And by doing this, be salt and light to the earth. And so, in all things that you do, you don't have to try to be perfect. You don't have to try to just get everything right the first time. Make sure you have, your dream job or that dream relationship or that dream car or something. You don't have to look to be perfect. You don't have to look to do everything right the first time around. But in whatever you do, wherever you go, make sure that you are walking with the Lord. That is what gives our lives meaning. That is what will give your life purpose. So, when you look towards the future, you don't have to fear the future. When you look towards the future, you don't have to have this anxiety or this apprehension about what am I going to do? Who's going to take care of me? But if you walk with the Lord and trust the Lord, then you can trust that He will take care of you, that He is a good Father. So this is a graduation service today, so going to college is another big stage in life. So you're going to have to, in a way, become independent. You're going to have to make your own decisions. You're going to have to, in a way, start taking care of yourself. But for a lot of people, this is a source of a lot of stress. A lot of people, like, when I was in college and when I was talking to just my classmates and my peers, so many of them are just so tired. They're just so overwhelmed by everything they have to do. They have school, they have work, they have church, and they're working at church too. So they're just so tired, they just want to find this rest. But even though you might be busy, even though there might be a lot to do, a lot of responsibilities, if you are walking with the Lord, if you make this your foundation, if you make abiding with God the foundation of your life, if you make prayer just a pillar of your life, then even though you might be busy, you won't feel overwhelmed. Even though you might have a lot to do, you won't feel like it's just too much for you, because you'll always be finding rest in the Lord. You'll always be finding rest in the fact that you can trust on the Lord, and that it's not just all about doing things yourself. So where you walk with the Lord. What you do it with the Lord. Let's pray. Lord, I just pray that all of us here, Lord, and also for David who's graduating, I just pray that you would give us all this wisdom, that this wisdom that we have read in the Psalms, that you would make it real to us, that we would really understand what it means to trust in you and not to lean upon ourselves, Lord. Just pray that in our lives, we would always come back to you. We would never forget you. It's that we would hold our faith precious, that we would hold you precious to us, Lord. And just in this time, I just pray that we will know that you are here with us, that you guide us, that you lead us, that all we have to do is trust in you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.